Good morning, students. Our next lesson is food security. So, every day after wake up, so every human being or living thing search for food. Clear? But in your houses, your parents are providing sufficient and nutrition food time to time to you, but the same situation is not there in the world, in every country. Okay, when you see the lives of the rural people or who are living slum areas in urban, they are suffering from chronic hunger. Okay, so what is the meaning of food security? So, food security means that all people at all times access to sufficient, safe, and nutrition food. Okay, so access to sufficient, safe, and nutrition food. So, actually, so all the people are not getting access, first of all, sufficient. Even men and women or children are not taking sufficient food according to health departments. And safe. Now, most of the food production based on fertilizers. They are using more fertilizers and pesticides. Okay, recently in Andhra, so many people get sick because of uh, fertilizers contained in the food. Okay, next, nutrition food. Most of the people are far away from nutrition food. Okay, so in 2011-13, 842 million people were suffering from chronic hunger. 842 million people throughout the world suffered for chronic hunger. So later, after independence, the right to food also taken as the constitutional right. So previously we have some fundamental rights and some constitutional rights. So this point, the right to food also taken as the constitutional right. Okay, even in 2020, percentage of population suffering from hunger. So if you take India, that is 5 to 14.9% of people still now suffering from chronic hunger. Okay, and Mexico also same. So and in Mongolia and Afghanistan, Madagascar, in those countries 35% are people are suffering for food, and Pakistan and some other countries also suffering. So in some North American countries and European countries, people only 2.5% of the people suffering from hunger, chronic hunger. Okay, so like that. So even now also throughout the world, much percentage of people suffering. So actually, government has the responsibility to provide the food grains, food to the people. So they don't provide for free of cost, but that is the duty of the government should provide availability of food grains in the market. So in the pre-independent India, famine situations of extreme scarcity of food were a common cause of large scale starvation deaths. Already we have discussed in the previous classes Ganjam famines, like that. So many famines faced by our people. So in the Bengal famine in 1943-45, for example, more than 3 to 5 million people were died around Bengal, Assam and Odisha because of food scarcity. Okay, nearly 3 to 5 million people were died. So here one example given, so we can understand how the people were suffered at the time of famines. So he was the oldest among his siblings. He used to work to survive. He worked as a daily laborer. So at that time, he left his father in the village and took his brothers and sisters to Calcutta at the time of famine, drought conditions. So he went to Calcutta to earn livelihood. So they only had some flour available as food. They they did not carry the different food grains. They have some flour, pindi. Okay, next. They went wherever food was distributed among them. So he saw many people suffering in the streets of Calcutta. So like that, like him, so many people migrated from villages to Calcutta for their livelihood at the time of famine conditions. He saw mothers carrying their sons in their arms who were actually dead. So the mothers thought that those are alive and they are carrying their children in their arms. But the mothers were still sprinkling them with water, trying to revive the children. He saw many things. People ate grass, snakes. He lost two sisters and a brother. He also lost his sisters and brother at the time. So this is the situation. This was the situation at the time of famine. So these are the people who are farmers, agriculturalists. They are not beggars, so they did not even know how to beg. The people who migrated from villages, those were farmers. They don't know how to beg. They know how to share. They produce food for other people, but they don't know how to beg. They have huge self-respect. When they came, they just sat on the pavements and they died there only. And when that picture hit the people of Calcutta, at the point suddenly everyone understood the scale of the disaster. So like that, people were suffered at the time of 1943-45 before independence. So why this was happened? So because at the time of famines or prior to famines, the governments failed to supply food grains to the people. Food grain supply was not organized by the rulers properly. So it could have been arranged from stocks or supplies could have been brought from other regions. It can do by the government. By the time of India's independence, governments started evolving various systems to ensure food grains for its people. So how the governments can provide food? So they started opening ration shops. Already you know ration shops who are having a ration card, white card, pink card. Okay, they can get food grains from the ration shops. Okay, next on subscribed price, subsidized prices, very less price. Already you know 2 rupees. Already we have discussed in the previous class. NTR introduced 2 rupees rice per kg and midday meals. So first midday meal program was introduced by Tamil Nadu government. Later the Supreme Court also instructed to all the state governments to introduce this. Okay, so midday meals that may of students can eat at the schools. Anganwadi, where young children are taken care of, including meals during the day, are some ways in which government today ensures food security. So to ensure food security, so governments introduced ration shops, midday meal and Anganwadi program schools, and now they are providing food for 5 rupees in the streets. Okay, so in this chapter we are going to discuss about this food security, how to how the food availability for the people, how to improve the food production in our country. Okay, food security of the country, increasing food grain production. So producing sufficient amount of food grains is an important requirement for food security. So how to provide food security to the people? So one important point is we should produce sufficient more food grains. That is only the solution to the food security. Okay, so how the farmers can produce more food grains? So if you provide certain conditions, so that farmers are able to produce or increasing amount of food grains. Which provisions they need? Good seeds, irrigation facilities, proper loans, agricultural loans to purchase inputs like tractors or some other things, and fair price for their production. Okay, so like that, if you provide these facilities, the farmers can try to produce more food grains. So here one graph is given, you can examine this. So graph 1, production of select food grains in million tons. Here paddy, wheat, jawar, oil seeds given from 1970 to 2011. So if you take the paddy, so in the 1970 they produced 40 million tons. Now it is increased to nearly 98 million tons. Okay, wheat also 88 or 89, and jawar. So jawar production was decreased from 1971 to 2011. Why? The people are not using jawar in their food. Okay, oil seeds. So oil seeds increased very little bit, 10 tons to 32 or 35, 33 tons. That's why the cost of the oil is more when you compare with the rice and wheat. So gradually the production is increasing from 1970 to 2011. So we know that the area under cultivation has been roughly unchanged since the last few decades. Actually, at the time of independence, most of the people are depending on agriculture. So most of the lands were utilized for agriculture. We cannot change. We cannot. It cannot be stretched. Okay. So it cannot change. Okay. Yield then becomes a crucial variable. So that is given in the graph 2. So in order to increase the per hectare yield of crop, necessary inputs have to be provided in a judicious manner. So one way is it explained irrigation, but use water in a manner that this vital resource is shared and made available to all. So already we discussed, the government creates some conditions. Okay, if they provide necessary inputs for irrigation, they can increase the production, but the main source is water. So agriculture required water more, so that we should use in a different manner, precious manner, so that should be shared to another sectors also. Okay, here another graph if given, yield of select food grains in kilograms per hectare. Hectare means 2.5 acres. Okay, so 1971 to 2011. So wheat, once upon a time, they were produced 1300 kilograms per hectare. Now they are able to producing 3000 kilograms, means 30 bags, quintas, not tons, 3 tons only. Quintas means 30 quinta, 40 quinta. So most of if the land is fertile, they can produce 40 to 50 quinta per hectare or acre at present. Okay, now when you see the paddy, so it is 1200 kilograms to now it is became 22 or 2300 kilograms, like that, means 20 bags. And jawar little bit increased, 500 to 900. And oil seeds, that is 6 or 700 to 1300 kilograms or 13 quintals per hectare. So this is very less production. So when you compare with other countries, they are producing more, nearly 150 quintals, means 15,000 kilograms per hectare or acre in other countries, because they are having more advanced tools. Okay, they are implemented in the agriculture. So the crops with low yields indicated in graph 2 mostly grow in dry lands. So especially jawar and oil seeds grow in the dry lands. Why? Paddy and wheat need more water, required more water. These crops demand more water. Okay, so where the present and even future possibility of irrigation is minimal, so planting drought resistant crops as per the local conditions, water harvesting and crop rotation are therefore used to raise production on given piece of land. Already we have discussed the cultivation, area of cultivation cannot be changed, so we cannot stretch the lands. So in the available land only we have to produce more yield. Okay, to get more yield, so we should change our agriculture system. So we try to plant the drought resistant crops as per the local conditions. Now different seeds are available in the market. Okay, next water harvesting and crop rotation. Water harvesting, this is more important, not only in agriculture, everywhere we should protect the water properly, then only in future we will get the water. Okay, and crop rotation, what happening since so many generations, our farmers following the same system, they never change the crop, they never change the system how to do the agriculture. That is one of the cause of not increasing the food productions. So we should change the crop, even we should leave 1 year crop holiday, and sometimes we should change crop. If you produce chili this year, next year in that land we should plant different crop. Okay, like that. That is the meaning of crop rotation, are therefore used to rise production on given piece of land. Okay, next, it is also important to ensure that soil and other natural resources are not damaged or depleted in the process. So another one is soil. Now we are using more fertilizers and pesticides. Because of that, so the soil and other natural resources are damaging. Fertility is decreasing in the land. Okay, next, some scientists and people working in the field of agriculture report that the way rice and wheat are cultivated in India by intensive and unscientific application of chemical fertilizers and insecticides, so have led to continuous but unsustainable increase in the yield levels. So how we are producing wheat and rice? We are using more uh, pesticides and fertilizers. So when you compare with other countries, we are using less, but even though that is more. That's why I have given one example in near previously last month in Andhra. So many suffered because of after eating these pesticide vegetables. Okay. In fact, these methods have lead to soil degradation and depletion of groundwater resources. So these sugarcane, wheat, and paddy demands more water. So to produce this, we are digging bore wells in Punjab. Punjab is the state which is having more bore wells in our country. So they produce wheat every year, they don't change. So that's why the groundwater levels are decreasing in Punjab. So like that, so when we use more water for irrigation, if you cultivate only wheat and rice and sugarcane, so automatically the depletion of groundwater increases and soil degradation. If you cultivate only one type of crop, and when you are using more fertilizers and pesticides, automatically soil will damage. Okay, if this continues, we may soon come to a situation that yields start falling rather than going up. So to provide food security, the main thing is we should produce more. But if you use more fertilizers and pesticides, so what will happen? The production will be fall. Clear? Next, availability of food grains. So at present, how much food grains are available for our population? We can find first. Okay, the first requirement for a country is to able to produce food grains for the whole of its population. So how do we measure whether there is enough food for all or not? So first of all, we have to calculate how much population is there in our country, how much food grains are required, how much are available. That is more important. Okay, whether this food reaches families or not would be examined later. So we are at first estimating what is available. This means that per person availability of food grains in the country should be sufficient and also increasing over the years according to the health departments. So they fix how much food grains the people should take, how much nutrition food they must take, how much carbohydrates they must take per day. So according to their calculations, the food grains are available in the market or not, in the country or not, we should calculate. Okay, then there is difference between production and availability of food grains. So sometimes based on the exports and imports, the availability may be changed. Okay, so this is estimated as availability of food grains for the year. So how to calculate available food grains for the year? So first of all, production of food grains during the year we should take. So recently central government introduced new agricultural acts. Our farmers belongs to Haryana, Punjab and some other states. They are fighting against these agricultural acts. So what they did in agricultural acts, previously the food grains were purchased by the government. Now the farmers need not to sell to only government, they can sell at anywhere. So what the brokers are doing now, they are not showing how much food grains they were purchased. So if they don't show, so we cannot find how much production of food grains during the year we cannot find. That is one of the defect in that act. Okay, so if they show, they have to pay some tax to the government now. That's why what they are doing, the brokers or middleman not showing how much food grains they purchase from the farmers. That they are trying to hide that particulars to avoid to pay the taxes to the government. So if they do like that, so we cannot get the information how much food grains are produced during the year. So production, first of all we have to take the production, how much food grains produced for a particular period. So from that we have to deduct the seed. Seed means we should kept some food grains seeds for future plantation, next year plantation. Okay, next feed. So feed means so give food to the animals. So we should every farmer kept some amount of food grains at his side. They don't sell total production in the market. Okay, and wastage. So that is the meaning of production. Production means production minus seed, feed and wastage plus net imports. Net imports means imports minus exports. Sometimes we imports food grains from the other countries. Sometimes we export our food grains to other countries. So after deducting import minus exports, that is called net imports, and minus change in stocks with the government. Changing stock means closing stock and opening stock. So closing stock at the year end minus opening stock at the beginning. So that's the meaning of net stock. So how to calculate production of food grains during the year? First we have to take the production. Production means after deducting seed, feed and wastage plus net imports. Net imports means imports minus exports. So after adding net imports to the production, deduct the change in stocks. Change in stocks means closing stock minus opening stock. So this means availability of food grains for the year. Clear? So later, availability of food grains for person per day, that is important. Availability of food grains per person per day. So availability of food grains, how to calculate per person? So availability of food grains for the year divided by population. So our population is more than 130 crores now at present. The population is more. Okay, so then the availability of food grains will be mostly less. Population, if you divide with population, we will get availability of food grain per person per year. How to calculate? Per day. So then that will be divided by 365 days. Okay, next, and availability of food grains for the year divided by population divided by 365 days, then availability of food grains for person per day we will get. So like that you have to calculate. Okay, so based on that, is that sufficient or not, we can estimate. Okay, so here Information relating to production, imports and changes in government stocks are given in the following table for the years 1971, 1991, 2011. So, another important source of food grains availability is the change in government stocks. Okay, so the amount of rice available for consumption in that years increase or decrease we will discuss by seeing the table. So here we can see that in 1971, so after calculating everything, 449 grams per person is available. Per person availability per day, 469 grams means more than half kilogram of food grains are available per person. Is it sufficient? So nowadays you are eating different items, food items like breakfast, lunch, snacks, dinner. So once upon a time, so most of the people used only food grains for the 3 times. Okay, next. Now in 1991, 510 grams and 2011 availability of food grains per person per day 460 grams. In 2020, that is 490 grams. It is also less than half kilogram, including all, not only rice, wheat, whatever we are using. Food grains are available only 490 grams per person per day. Okay, sometimes it is not sufficient who are working hard. So except don't compare with us, we are not doing any physical work. We take different food per day, but some people depend on this food grains whole day. So it is not sufficient. It cannot contain all nutrition and carbohydrates in that diet. Okay, we'll discuss all this in the later classes. Clear? So we'll discuss next part of the lesson in the next class. So write your important points. Thank you.